List of story structures. 12 languages. A story structure, narrative structure, or dramatic structure, also known as a dramaturgical structure, is the structure of a dramatic work such as a book, play, or film. There are different kinds of narrative structures worldwide, which have been hypothesized by critics, writers, and scholars over time. This article covers the range of dramatic structures from around the world, how the acts are structured, and what the center of the story is supposed to be about. Widely varies by region and time period. Africa and African diaspora, edit. Caribbean, edit. Quick-quack, edit. The quick-quack, also called as crick-crack, structure involves three elements: the narrator, the protagonist, and the audience. 1. The story itself is considered a performance, so there is a synergy among the aforementioned elements. 1. In the story, the narrator may draw attention to the narrative, or to himself as storyteller. 2. The structure often includes the following: 1. Tell riddles to test the audience. 2. Audience becomes a chorus and comments on the story. Usually there is a ritual ending. 3. West Africa, edit. Griot, edit. A story structure commonly found in West Africa told by griot storytellers, who tell their stories orally. Famous stories from this tradition include Anansi folk tales. 4. This storytelling type had influence on later African American, Creole, and Caribbean African diaspora stories. The story structure is as follows. 1. Opening formula includes jokes and riddles to engage audience participation. Then a solemn beginning. 2. The body forward/expository section, narration of the tale, setting up the characters and the events. Defining the conflict, with storyteller singing, dancing, shouting and inviting the audience to join. The storyteller uses a language full of images and symbolism. 3. The conclusive formula, closure of the story and the moral. 5. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The central driver of the story is memory. The griot or the storyteller relies on collective knowledge and can perform several functions such as educator, counselor, negotiator, entertainer and custodian of the collective memory. 6. Indigenous peoples of North America and Latin America, edit. Central America, edit. Robledo, edit. Robledo is a story form that originates from Nicaragua. It's named after Robert Robledo, though the structure is much older than him and discovered by Cheryl Diermeyer, an outsider, in 2010. 7. It is made of 1 line of repetition, 2 introduction, 3 climax, 4 journeys, 5 close. South America, edit. Haroy, edit. Main article, Haroy, genre. Haroy is an ancient traditional genre of Andean music and also indigenous lyric poetry. Haroy was widespread in the Inca Empire and now is especially common in countries that were part of it. Mainly, Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia. Typically, Haroy is a moody, soulful slow and melodic song or tune, played on the quena, flute. The words of Haroy speak of love, often unrequited, plight of ordinary peasant, privations of orphans, etc. Melodies are mainly in minor pentatonic scale. Asia, edit. East Asia, edit. Dream record, edit. This is a story type that starts with a dream. It was invented in the Ming Dynasty and exported to Korea. 8. The structure deals mainly with a character either reflecting on their life or telling another dead character about their life. It often reflects regret from the characters about their life choices, and helps them to either move on or accept their reality. It was never imported into Japan because Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Japan had an anti-Chinese sentiment in the Tokugawa era starting in the 1600s, and the collapse of the Ming Empire was in 1618. Dream Record, Japan, edit. Dream Record or Dream Diaries is separate from the Dream Record above and was started by Buddhist monks in 13th century Japan, who recorded their dreams in diaries. 9. These dreams were often recorded, shared and viewed. East Asian 4 Act, edit. Main article, Kishitenkitsu. This dramatic structure started out as a Chinese poetry style called Kyuchengjinhe, and then was exported to Korea as Jiisungji and Jil, Hangul, Hunja, and Japan as Kishitenkitsu. Each country has adapted their own take on the original structure. 8-legged essay, edit. Main article, 8-legged essay. The 8-legged essay, Chinese. AAE. Pinyin, BA with Macron GWN, lit. 8-bone text, 10, was a style of essay in imperial examinations during the Ming and Qing dynasties in China. 10. The 8-legged essay was needed for those test takers in these civil service tests to show their merits for government service, often focusing on Confucian thought and knowledge of the 4 books and 5 classics, in relation to governmental ideals. 10. Test takers could not write in innovative or creative ways, but needed to conform to the standards of the 8-legged essay. 10. Various skills were examined, including the ability to write coherently and to display basic logic. In certain times, the candidates were expected to spontaneously compose poetry upon a set theme, whose value was also sometimes questioned, or eliminated as part of the test material. This was a major argument in favor of the 8-legged essay, arguing that it were better to eliminate creative art in favor of prosaic literacy. In the history of Chinese literature, the 8-legged essay is often said to have caused China's cultural stagnation and economic backwardness in the 19th century. 10. 11. Johar Ky, edit. Main article, Johar Ky. Johar Ky is a concept of modulation and movement applied in a wide variety of traditional Japanese arts. Roughly translated to beginning, break, rapid, it essentially means that all actions or efforts should begin slowly, speed up, and then end swiftly. This concept is applied to elements of the Japanese tea ceremony, to kendo and other martial arts, to dramatic structure in the traditional theater, and to the traditional collaborative linked verse forms Renga and Renku, Haikai. No Renga. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The concept originated in Gagaku court music, specifically in the ways in which elements of the music could be distinguished and described. Though eventually incorporated into a number of disciplines, it was most famously adapted, and thoroughly analyzed and discussed by the great playwright Zimi, 12, who viewed it as a universal concept applying to the patterns of movement of all things. West Asia, edit. Chiastic structure, edit. Main article, chiastic structure. A kind of structure found in the Torah, Bible and Quran using a form of repetition. Hakawati, edit. Main article, Palestinian literature. Hakawati. A Palestinian form of literature which includes 1001 Arabian Nights. This structure also includes many religious works, including the Torah, Bible, and Quran. 14. Karagos, edit. Main article, Karagos and Hasavat. Karagos plays. Karagos, literally Blackie in Turkish, and Hasavat, shortened in time from Hakvaz meaning Vaz the pilgrim, and also sometimes written as Hasayvad, are the lead characters of the traditional Turkish shadow play, popularized during the Ottoman period and then spread to most nation-states of the Ottoman Empire. It is most prominent in Turkey, Greece, Bosnia and Herzegovina and Agira, Autonomous Republic of Georgia. In Greece, Karagos is known by his local name Karagiozis. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, he is known by his local name Karauz. Karagos plays are structured in 4 parts. Muqaddim, introduction. Hasavat sings a semi-different at each performance, recites a prayer, and indicates that he is looking for his friend Karagos, whom he beckons to the scene. With a speech that always ends Yabana bir elens, for some amusement. Karagos enters from the opposite side. Muhawaria, dialogue between Karagos and Hasavat. Faisal, main plot. Baitis, conclusion, always a short argument between Karagos and Hasavat, always ending with Hasavat yelling at Karagos that he has ruined whatever matter was at hand and has brought the curtain down, and Karagos replying, "May my transgressions be forgiven." Sources: 15-16. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Tarzi, edit. Main article, Tarzi. Tarzi or Tarzi or Tarzia or Tazar or Tarzi, Arabic, Persian, Urdu, means comfort, condolence or expression of grief. It comes from roots aza, and, which means mourning. Depending on the region, time, occasion, religion, etc., the word can signify different cultural meanings and practices. In Persian cultural reference, it is categorized as condolence theater or passion play inspired by a historical and religious event, the tragic death of Husayn, symbolizing epic spirit and resistance. In South Asia and in the Caribbean, it refers specifically to the miniature mausoleums. Imitations of the mausoleums of Karbala, generally made of colored paper and bamboo, used in ritual processions held in the month of Muharram. Tarzi, primarily known from the Persian tradition, is a Shiite Muslim ritual that reenacts the death of Husayn, the Islamic prophet Muhammad's grandson, and his male children and companions in a brutal massacre on the plains of Karbala, Iraq in the year 680 AD. His death was the result of a power struggle in the decision of control of the Muslim community, called the Caliph, after the death of Muhammad. 17. Europe and the European diaspora, edit. Aristotle's analysis, edit. Many scholars have analyzed dramatic structure, beginning with Aristotle in his Poetics, c. 335 BCE. In his Poetics, a theory about tragedies, the Greek philosopher Aristotle put forth the idea the play should imitate a single whole action and does not skip around, such as flashbacks. A whole is what has a beginning and middle and end. A beginning is that which is not a necessary consequent of anything else but after which something else exists or happens as a natural result. An end on the contrary is that which is inevitably or, as a rule, the natural result of something else but from which nothing else follows. A middle follows something else and something follows from it. Well constructed plots must not therefore begin and end at random, but must embody the formulae we have stated. 1450b 27. 18. He split the play into two acts, decis and lysis, which roughly translates to binding and unbinding. 19. Though contemporary translation is complication and denouement. 20. He mainly used suffocals to make his argument about the proper dramatic structure of a play. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. He argues that for a proper tragedy the plot should be simple, a man moving from prosperity to tragedy and not the reverse. It should excite pity or fear, to shock the viewer. He also states that the man needs to be well known to the audience. The tragedy should come about because of a flaw in the character. 21. He ranked the order of importance of the play to be chorus, events, diction, character, spectacle. 20. And that all plays should be able to be performed from memory, long and easy to understand. 22. He was against character-centric plots, stating the unity of a plot does not consist, as some suppose, in its having one man as its subject. 23. He was against episodic plots. 24. He held that discovery should be the high point of the play and that the action should teach a moral that is reinforced by pity, fear and suffering. 25. The spectacle, not the characters themselves, would give rise to the emotions. 26. The stage should also be split into prologue, episode, exode, and a choral portion, distinguished into parade and stasimon. 27. Unlike later, he held that the morality was the center of the play and what made it great. Unlike popular belief, he did not come up with the three-act structure popularly known. One-act play, edit. Main article, one-act play. Said to be innovated by Euripides for his play Cyclops, it wasn't wildly popular until the late 19th century with the rise of film. Alice Guy Blatch made a comment about it in the documentary Be Natural, The Untold Story of Alice Guy Blatch, where she commented that many of the films of the time required a quick punchline at the end. It is still used today, but fell out of popular favor for films around the late 1930s to 1940s, when the runtime for an average film became longer. 28. See Kenneth Throne and Leigh Jossigri. Horace's analysis, edit. The Roman drama critic Horace advocated a five-act structure in his Ars Poetica, Neumina Nucit. Quinto Productia Actu Fabula, lines 189-190, a play should not be shorter or longer than 5 acts. He also argued for a chorus. The chorus should play an actor's part, energetically, and the center of the play should be morality as Aristotle did. It should favor the good, and give friendly advice. Guide those who are angered, encourage those fearful of sinning, praise the humble table's food, sound laws, and justice, and peace with her wide open gates. It should hide secrets, and pray and entreat the gods, that the proud lose their luck, and the wretched regain it. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. He did not specify the contents of the acts. Aelius Donatus, edit. The 4th century Roman grammarian Aelius Donatus in his criticism of Terence's plays Adelph and Hesera in the book Aeli Donati Quod furtive commentvum Terenti, Exenvent Graph 5 Volume 2. And in his review of Terence's play Andria in P. Terentii Africa Modii Sex used the terms prologue, prologus, protasis, epitasis and catastropha. He often uses the original Greek letters, but does not define these as specific acts, but as parts of the play as having different emotional qualities. For example, for Terence's play Adelph he comments, in hac prologus aliquanto linea inducita. Me guis esham in se purgando quam in adiustratis lidendis ist occupatus. Turbulenta ist. Clamissa, linea. Quarum partium rationem diligentius in principio proposiumus. Cum de commoedia quadam diceremus. Which roughly translates to, in this the prologue is somewhat milder, he is more engaged in clearing himself than in injuring his opponents. Protasis is turbulent. The epitasis is loud and gentle a catastrophe. 29. 4. He further adds that Hesera, in hac prologus istit multiplexit rhetoricus nimis, propteria quod. Sip exclusa hic commoedia diligentissima defension indigebat. Atkin hac. Turbulenta ist, mollia, lenus dot. Which roughly translate to, in this the prologue is both multiple and overly rhetorical, because oftentimes this comedy is excluded because it needs a very careful defense. And in this the protasis is turbulent, the milder the epithasis, the softer the catastrophe. 29. 189. However, he also argues that Latins have a 5-act chorus, which distinguishes Latins from Greeks. Hoc etiam ut cetera huius modi poemata quinc actus habeat necessist choris dius ossa. Graces poetis. Which roughly translates to, in order to have other poems of this kind, it is necessary to have 5 acts of choruses, distinguished from the Greek poets. 29. 189 making it fairly clear that though he used the Greek for these divisions of play, he did not think of them as part of the overall act structure. No definitive translation of this work has been made into English. 30. Picaresque novel, edit. Main article, picaresque novel. Born in Spain in the 16th century, the picaresque novel is a type of narrative told in the first person by a low-born protagonist, Picaro, in a realistic setting, often with a satiric tone. Plot and character development is limited. Famous examples are Lazarilo de Tormes and Mateo Alman's Guzman de Alfarage. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Freytag's Pyramid, 38. Shakespeare and the Renaissance, edit. William Shakespeare did not invent the 5-act structure. 31. The 5-act structure was made by Gustav Freytag, in which he used Shakespeare as an example. There are no writings from Shakespeare on how he intended his plays to be. There is some thought that people imposed the act structure after his death. During his lifetime, the 4-act structure was also popular and used in plays such as Fortunae Ludibrium Sive Belisarius. 32. Freytag made claims in his book that Shakespeare should have used his 5-act structure, but it did not exist at the time period of Shakespeare. 33. It is argued by Richard Levy that during the Renaissance, multiple plots became far more popular, deviating from Aristotle's singular linear plot model. 34. Robert Coltrane further argues that the plot structure of the time period was done in foils, with often comedies with a serious plot and then several comedic and outlandish plots around it. 35. Bildungsroman, edit. Main article, Bildungsroman. The term was coined in the 1819 by Karl Morgenstern, but the birth of the Bildungsroman is normally dated to the publication of Wilhelm Meister's apprenticeship by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe in 1795–96, 36, or, sometimes, to Christoph Martin Wieland's Geschichte des Agathon of 1767, 37. The plot requires a young or innocent protagonist who goes on to learn about the world, and learns how to enter it. The central goal is maturity of the protagonist, which may be done through discovery, conflict or other means. Freytag's Pyramid, edit. The German playwright and novelist Gustav Freytag wrote Die Technik des Dramas, 39, a definitive study of the five-act dramatic structure, in which he laid out what has come to be known as Freytag's Pyramid. 40. Under Freytag's Pyramid, the plot of a story consists of 5 parts, 41, 38. 1. Exposition, originally called Introduction. 2. Rise. 3. Climax. 4. Return or Fall. 5. Catastrophe. 42. Freytag is indifferent as to which of the contending parties justice favors. In both groups, good and evil, power and weakness, are mingled. 43. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. A drama is then divided into 5 parts, or acts, which some refer to as a dramatic arc: introduction, rise, climax, return or fall, and catastrophe. Freytag extends the 5 parts with 3 moments or crises: the exciting force, the tragic force, and the force of the final suspense. The exciting force leads to the rise, the tragic force leads to the return or fall, and the force of the final suspense leads to the catastrophe. Freytag considers the exciting force to be necessary, but the tragic force and the force of the final suspense are optional. Together, they make the 8 component parts of the drama. 38. In making his argument, he attempts to retcon much of the Greeks and Shakespeare by making opinions of what they meant, but didn't actually say. 44. He argued for tension created through contrasting emotions, but didn't actively argue for conflict. 45. He argued that character comes first in plays. 46. He also sets up the groundwork for what would later in history be called the inciting incident. 47. Overall, Freytag argued the center of a play is emotionality, and the best way to get that emotionality is to put contrasting emotions back to back. He laid some of the foundations for centering the hero. Unlike Aristotle, he is popularly attributed to have stated conflict at the center of his plays, but he argues actively against continuing conflict. 48. Introduction, edit. Main article, exposition, narrative. The setting is fixed in a particular place and time, the mood is set, and characters are introduced. A backstory may be alluded to. Introduction can be conveyed through dialogues, flashbacks, characters' asides, background details, in-universe media, or the narrator telling a backstory. 49. Rise, edit. An exciting force begins immediately after the exposition, introduction, building the rise in one or several stages toward the point of greatest interest. These events are generally the most important parts of the story, since the entire plot depends on them to set up the climax and ultimately the satisfactory resolution of the story itself. 50. Climax, edit. Main article, climax, narrative. The climax is the turning point, which changes the protagonist's fate. If things were going well for the protagonist, the plot will turn against them, often revealing the protagonist's hidden weaknesses. 51. If the story is a comedy, the opposite state of affairs will ensue, with things going from bad to good for the protagonist, often requiring the protagonist to draw on hidden inner strengths. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. A diagram of Silas Marner on page 58 of Selden Whitcomb's The Study of a Novel. Return or Fall, edit. During the return, the hostility of the counterparty beats upon the soul of the hero. Freytag lays out 2 rules for this stage: the number of characters be limited as much as possible, and the number of scenes through which the hero falls should be fewer than in the rise. The return or fall may contain a moment of final suspense, although the catastrophe must be foreshadowed so as not to appear as a non sequitur. There could be for the doomed hero a prospect of relief, where the final outcome is in doubt. 52. Catastrophe, edit. Main article, catastrophe, drama. The catastrophe in the original, 53, is when the hero meets his logical destruction. Freytag warns the writer not to spare the life of the hero. 54. Despite denouement being attested as first appearing in 1752, 55, 56, 57, it was not used to refer to dramatic structure until the 19th century, and not specifically used by Freytag for this section of the act structure. Selden Lincoln Whitcomb, edit. In 1905, Selden Lincoln Whitcomb published The Study of a Novel, and suggested that graphical representation of a novel was possible. The general epistolary structure may be partially represented by a graphic design. 58. For which he posts a proposed design for Miss Bernie Evelina on page 21. He expounds this idea on page 39 with the line of emotion, where he proposes how one feels about emotion can be drawn graphically. However, he makes a careful distinction between author, character and reader. The fact that the author presents a character moved by fear does not necessarily mean that the author or the reader experiences that emotion. Nor does a mere discussion of emotion, whether by the author or a character such as one should notice in the study of subject matter, belong to the line of emotion. 58. He argued that this line of emotion should be calculated for the reader. He draws a diagram for Silas Marner chapter 13 to illustrate his point. He does not prescribe a certain formula for the structure, but instead introduces various kinds of vocabulary for various points along the emotional line. His work was then used in Joseph Berg Esenwain to describe short stories for the line of emotion. Though his name is misspelled in Esenwain's work, his diagram specifically for Silas Marner was plagiarized later by Kenneth Rowe, though he drew other diagrams for other novels and forms. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Such as Pride and Prejudice on page 58, the epistolary form 21p, simple narratives 56p, and so on. Joseph Bergesen-Wayne, edit. Joseph Bergesen-Wayne in 1909 published Writing the Short Story, a practical handbook on the rise, structure, writing, and sale of the modern short story. In it he outlines the following plot elements and ties it to a drawing, 59, following which comes prescriptions, incident, emotion, crisis, suspense, climax, denouement, conclusion. He does not make an accompanying diagram with any of these elements, but does argue that the line of emotion is important to stories on page 198. He also lists types of plots on page 76 as surprise, problem, mystery, mood or emotion or sentiment, contrast, and symbolism. He does not argue one to be superior to the other. He cautions multiple times in his text that his prescriptions are only for short stories such as pages 30-32. Chapter X, Part 5. Climax he defines here as the apex of interest and emotion. It is the point of the story. When quoting Short Story Writing 1898, Charles Raymond Barrett, p. 171 but further expounds here as rise of interest and in power to its highest point. He argues the highest point is always along emotional lines on page 187, stating, the big thing at once the basic and the climacteric thing in the short story is human interest, and there can be no sustained human interest without emotion. The whole creation is a field for its display, and since fiction assumes to be a microcosm, fiction, short and long, must deal intimately with emotion, from its gentler to its extreme manifestations. 59. The definitions he used would later influence the vocabulary for the Hollywood formula. Early Hollywood films were short. For example, in Old California, published in 1910, is 17 minutes long. Revelation. Jesse Ketchum Brennan, edit. Reverend J.K. Brennan wrote his essay The General Design of Plays for the book The Delphian Course, 1912, for the Delphian Society. 60. For the essay, he describes what the diagram and the play of Antigone look like. He outlines 8 parts of a play which are 1. The exposition. This part tells what has happened before the stage action begins. The audience is made acquainted with the setting of the play, its atmosphere, the characters, and their social positions. 2. The turn of the play, the action of one or more of the characters which sets the course of events moving towards the crisis or climax. 3. The steps of action, leading to climax, sometimes called rising action, A, B, C, etc. 4. The decisive point of action. Something takes place which makes it impossible for the rising action to go further. Affairs must take a new direction. 5. The falling action, leading from the climax. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 6. The final lift, something which checks the downward action, a new problem arises. 7. The catastrophe, or denouement. 8. The end, or the result of the catastrophe. This is the first time that catastrophe and denouement are called the same thing. No references to other works are given in the essay. Clayton Hamilton, edit. Clayton Hamilton, in A Manual of the Art of Fiction, 1918, stated that a proper plot outline is a plot, therefore, in its general aspects, may be figured as a complication followed by an explication, a tying followed by an untying, or, to say the same thing in French, words which are perhaps more connotative, a nouement followed by a denouement. 61. He does not state the center of stories is conflict, but rather on page 3 that, the purpose of fiction is to embody certain truths of human life in a series of imagined facts. 61. And centers on the debate of the time between Romanticism and realism. The complication is what Le Jossigny later called the premise, and it was later pushed to be part of the inciting incident. The explication was put first and then explained to be the introduction in the contemporary vocabulary. The denouement would be split later into falling action and conclusion. Confessional writing, edit. Main article, confessional writing. Sprung originally from Christianity, it is often an account of a person's life that was first secularized by Jean-Jacques Rousseau and then popularized in 1919 with the magazine True Story. The confessions don't really have to be valid, though an account of someone's life needs to be included. Such confessions magazines were chiefly aimed at an audience of working-class women. 62. Their formula has been characterized as sin, suffer, repent. The heroine violates standards of behavior, suffers as a consequence, learns her lesson, and resolves to live in light of it, not embittered by her pain. 63. Percy Lubbock, edit. Percy Lubbock wrote The Craft of Fiction, which was published in 1921. The aim of Lubbock is to give a shape or a formula to books, because he states, we hear the phrase on all sides, an unending argument is waged over it. One critic condemns a novel as shapeless, meaning that its shape is objectionable, another retorts that if the novel has other fine qualities, its shape is unimportant, and the two will continue their controversy till an onlooker, pardonably bewildered, may begin to suppose that form in fiction is something to be put in or left. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Kenneth Rowe's Basic Dramatic Structure from page 60. Of Write That Play out of a novel according to the taste of the author. But though the discussion is indeed confusingly worded at times, it is clear that there is agreement on this article at least, that a book is a thing to which a shape is ascribable, good or bad. 64. He also argued for death of the author somewhat in his work, The Reader of a Novel, by which I mean the critical reader is himself a novelist. He is the maker of a book which may or may not please his taste when it is finished, but of a book for which he must take his own share of the responsibility. The author does his part, but he cannot transfer his book like a bubble into the brain of the critic. He cannot make sure that the critic will possess his work. The reader must therefore become, for his part, a novelist, never permitting himself to suppose that the creation of the book is solely the affair of the author. 65. He is the first to make a concentrated effort at looking at conflict as the center of drama and therefore stories. What is the story? There is first of all a succession of phases in the lives of certain generations, youth that passes out into maturity, fortunes that meet and clash and reform, hopes that flourish and wane and reappear in other lives, age that sinks and hands on the torch to youth again. Such is the substance of the drama. The book, I take it, begins to grow out of the thought of the processional march of the generations, always changing, always renewed, its figures are sought and chosen for the clarity with which the drama is embodied in them. 66. He directly mentions conflict when referring to the plot of War and Peace, 67, with analyzing Madame Bovary, 68. And so on. The book was wildly popular, but Virginia Woolf privately wrote of the work that, "This is my prime discovery so far, and the fact that I've been so long finding it, proves, I think, how false Percy Lubbock's doctrine is that you can do this sort of thing consciously." In November 1923. 69, she went back and forth on the work throughout her life. 70. Kenneth Thorpe, edit. In 1939, Kenneth Thorpe published Write That Play, in which he outlined what he thought of his ideal play structure. He did not cite any sources, though there looks to be some influence from Freytag's pyramid. The parts are: introduction, attack, rising action, crisis, falling action, resolution, conclusion. The attack would be relabeled the inciting incident later, and the crisis would be relabeled climax, and the conclusion as the denouement by Sid Field. The resolution as a turning point was also taken out. The center of the play should be, according to him, conflict, as this will excite the most emotion. 71. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. A visual representation of the three-act structure. He acknowledges other people have used climax, but does not cite who, but objects to the term climax because climax is misleading because it might with equal fitness be applied to the resolution. Climax applied to the turning point suggests increasing tension up to that point, and relaxation following it. What actually happens is that the tension continues to increase in a well-structured play from the turning point to the resolution, but is given a new direction and impetus at the turning point. 72. Despite this being his ideal shape for a play, he suggests that this can be modified to include more complications on the rising action or the falling action. 73. He further suggests that the play structure doesn't need a conclusion. 74. However, if there is a conclusion, he suggests making it shorter than the introduction, and it can either be flat or acute in angle. 75. This story structure, as suggested, had a strong influence on Arthur Miller, All My Sons, Death of a Salesman. 76. Le Jossigry, edit. In his book The Art of Dramatic Writing, published 1946, Le Jossigry argued for more look inside of characters' minds, and that character generates conflict, which generates events. He cites Moses Louis Malevinsky's The Science of Playwriting and the Theory of Theatre by Clayton Hamilton. Unlike previous works he cites from, he emphasized the importance of premise to a play. 77. He is also far more interested in looking at character creating conflict and events, than events shaping characters. He states this by arguing for different kinds of conflict: static, jump and rise. 78. These in turn can also be an attack or counterattack. 79. He argues that rising conflict is the best at revealing character. 80. He also examines character through the lens of physiology, sociology and psychology. 81. His work influenced Sid Field, who went on to make the three-act Hollywood formula. 82. Sid Field, edit. Main article, three-act structure. Sid Field in 1979 published screenplay, The Foundations of Screenwriting. He outlined that the structure of the play should be: Act I contains the setup. It is approximately the first quarter of a screenplay, and reveals the main character, premise, and situation of the story. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Act 2 contains the confrontation. It lasts for the next 2 quarters of the screenplay, and clearly defines the main goal of the protagonist. Act 3 contains the resolution. This is the final quarter of the screenplay. This answers the question as to whether or not the main character succeeded in his or her goal. He outlined in the 2005 edition of his book Foundations of a Screenplay, that he wanted to give a more set structure to the work that Leigh Josegry had laid out. 82. He was the first to really coin the three-act model as a formal model for screenplays. 83. Theatre of the Absurd, edit. Main article, Theatre of the Absurd. Critic Martin Esslin coined the term in his 1960 essay The Theatre of the Absurd, which begins by focusing on the playwrights Samuel Beckett, Arthur Adamouf, and Eugene Ionesco. Esslin says that their plays have a common denominator, the absurd, a word that Esslin defines with a quotation from Ionesco: absurd is that which has not purpose, or goal, or objective. 84, 85. The French philosopher Albert Camus, in his 1942 essay Myth of Sisyphus, describes the human situation as meaningless and absurd. 86. Plot-wise, it often undercuts the conflict in the story and mocks the human condition. It often lacks any formal plot structure. Often nothing really gets resolved. Television story arcs, edit. Although soap operas had been telling serialized stories since the 1950s, television multiple episode story arcs in prime time were not popular in the US until 1981, with the introduction of Hill Street Blues. 87, 88. Prior to that, episodes could be shifted in order without audience confusion. Multiple episode story arcs took off in the 1990s, with many of the popular television shows employing them. Xena, Warrior Princess, Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, Boy Meets World, and Batman, the animated series all had story arcs. Northrop Frye's dramatic structure, edit. The Canadian literary critic and theorist Northrop Frye analyzes the narratives of the Bible in terms of two dramatic structures: 1, a U-shaped pattern, which is the shape of a comedy, and 2, an inverted U-shaped pattern, which is the shape of a tragedy. A U-shaped pattern, edit. This U-shaped pattern recurs in literature as the standard shape of comedy, where a series of misfortunes and misunderstandings brings the action to a threateningly low point, after which some explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Fortunate twist in the plot sends the conclusion up to a happy ending. 89. A U-shaped plot begins at the top of the U with a state of equilibrium, a state of prosperity or happiness, which is disrupted by disequilibrium or disaster. At the bottom of the U, the direction is reversed by a fortunate twist. Divine deliverance, an awakening of the protagonist to his or her tragic circumstances, or some other action or event that results in an upward turn of the plot. Aristotle referred to the reversal of direction as pariptya or paripti, which depends frequently on a recognition or discovery by the protagonist. Aristotle called this discovery an anagnorisis, a change from ignorance to knowledge, involving matters which bear on prosperity or adversity. 90. The protagonist recognizes something of great importance that was previously hidden or unrecognized. The reversal occurs at the bottom of the U and moves the plot upward to a new stable condition marked by prosperity, success, or happiness. At the top of the U, equilibrium is restored. A classic example of a U-shaped plot in the Bible is the parable of the prodigal son in Luke 15:11-24. The parable opens at the top of the U with a stable condition but turns downward after the son asks the father for his inheritance and sets out for a distant country. Luke 15:13. Disaster strikes. The son squanders his inheritance and famine in the land increases his dissolution. Luke 15:13-16. This is the bottom of the U. A recognition scene, Luke 15:17, and a peripety move the plot upward to its denouement, a new stable condition at the top of the U. An inverted U-shaped structure, edit. The inverted U begins with the protagonist's rise to a position of prominence and well-being. At the top of the inverted U, the character enjoys good fortune and well-being. But a crisis or a turning point occurs, which marks the reversal of the protagonist's fortunes and begins the descent to disaster. Sometimes a recognition scene occurs where the protagonist sees something of great importance that was previously unrecognized. The final state is disaster and adversity, the bottom of the inverted U. Citation needed. Contemporary, edit. Contemporary dramas increasingly use the fall to increase the relative height of the climax and dramatic impact, melodrama. The protagonist reaches up but falls and succumbs to doubts, fears, and limitations. The negative climax occurs when the protagonist has an epiphany and encounters the greatest fear possible or loses something important, giving the protagonist the courage to take on another obstacle. This confrontation becomes the classic climax. 91. In her 2019 book Meander, Spiral, Explode, Design and Pattern in Narrative Novelist and Writing, teacher Jane Allison criticized the conflict climax resolution structure of narrative as masculo-sexual and instead argues that narratives should form around various types patterns, for example, found in nature. 92, 93. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. See also, edit. Frame story. Narrative structure. Narrative transportation. Rule of 3, writing. Scene and sequel. Notes, edit. 1 A.B. Gisels, Kathleen, Ledant, Benedict, 2008. L'Écrivain Carabine, Guerrier de l'Imaginaire. Amsterdam, Redopai. p. 309. ISBN 978-90-420-2553-0. 2 MacDonald Smythe, Antonia, 2010. Making Homes in the West / Indies, Constructions of Subjectivity. In the Writings of Michelle Cliff and Jamaica Kincaid. New York, Routledge. p. 175. ISBN 978-0-8153. 4037-9. 3 The African Storytelling Tradition in the Caribbean. 16 August 2009. 4 Asamingbohan, Lewis, Bath, Michael, 2013. African Traditional and Oral Literature as Pedagogical Tools in Content Area Classrooms, K-12. Charlotte, NC, IAP. p. 240. ISBN 978-1-62396. 538-9. 5 9th of January, 2008, Keeping the Tradition of African Storytelling Alive. Teachers.yale.edu. Archived from the original on the 24th of July, 2021. Retrieved the 24th of July, 2021. 6 Sawadogo, Bukhari, 2018. African Film Studies, An Introduction. Oxon, Routledge. ISBN 978-0-429. 66858-6. 7 Robleto. University of Wisconsin-Madison. Using Narrative Structures. Archived from the original on the 16th of October, 2014. 8 Korean Literature Early Chosen, 1392-1598. Archived from the original on the 24th of July, 2021. Retrieved the 24th of July, 2021. 9 Objects We Love, Dream Record. YouTube. Archived from the original on the 6th of February, 2022. Retrieved the 6th of February, 2022. 10 ABCDE Elman, Benjamin O. 2009. 8-legged essay, PDF. In Cheng, Linson, ed. Berkshire. Encyclopedia of China. Berkshire Publishing Group. pp. 695989. ISBN 9780190622671. Archived. PDF, from the original on the 12th of October, 2021. 11 Teal, Roy E. Shouyi, Chen, 1962. Chinese Literature, A Historical Introduction. Books Abroad. 36, 452 do, 10.200307/40117286. ISSN 0006-7431. JSTA 40117286. 12 Zimi. Teachings on Style and the Flower, Fshikaden. From Reimer and Yamazaki. On the Art of the Drama. 20p. 13 Salim, Sobia. Never trust the teller, he said. Trust the tale, narrative. Technique from the Arabian Nights to postmodern adaptations by Rabbi Alameddine and Pia Pasolini, PDF. UC Santa Cruz. Archived, PDF, from the original on the 18th of October, 2021. Retrieved the 18th of October, 2021. 14 Shodhari, Suchitra Bajpai, the 5th of April, 2014. Hakawati, The Ancient Arab Art of Storytelling. Gulf News. Archived from the original on the 18th of October, 2021. Retrieved the 18th of October, 2021. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 15 Ersin Alak, Karagöz Hasayvat, The Turkish Shadow Play, Skylife, Subat, Turkish Airlines in Flight. Magazine, February 1996, pp. 66-69. 16 Parts of Turkish Shadow Theatre Karagöz. Karagöz and Hasivat. The 21st of May, 2015. Archived from the original on the 25th of January, 2023. Retrieved the 25th of January, 2023. 17 Chelkowski, Peter, 2003. Time Out of Memory, Tazi, The Total Drama. Asia Society. Archived from the original on the 12th of November, 2017. Retrieved the 11th of November, 2017. 18 Aristotle, 1932, c. 335 BCE. Aristotle, Poetics, section 1450b. Aristotle in 23 volumes. Volume 23. Translated by W.H. 5th. Cambridge, Ma, Harvard University Press. Archived from the original on 22 April 2008. Retrieved the 25th of January 2023 via www.perseus.tufts.edu. 19 Liddell, Scott, Jones, eds. 1940. Release, N. Perseus Greek-English Lexicon, 9th ed. Archived from the original on the 2nd of June 2022. Retrieved the 30th of October 2021 via Kata Biblon Wiki. Lexicon. 20 AB Aristotle. 18 Aristotle on the Art of Poetry. The Poetics. Translated by Ingram Bywater. Archived from the original on the 24th of July 2021. Retrieved the 25th of January 2023 via www.authorama.com. 21 Aristotle, 2008, c. 335 BCE. 11. Aristotle's Poetics. Translated by S. H. Butcher. Archived from the original on the 30th of October 2021. Retrieved the 30th of October 2021 via Project Gutenberg. 22 Aristotle. 7. Aristotle on the Art of Poetry. The Poetics. Translated by Ingram Bywater. Archived from the original on the 16th of April 2021. Retrieved the 25th of January 2023 via www.authorama.com. 23 Aristotle. 8. Aristotle on the Art of Poetry. The Poetics. Translated by Ingram Bywater. Archived from the original on the 27th of January 2021. Retrieved the 25th of January 2023 via www.authorama.com. 24 Aristotle. 10. Aristotle on the Art of Poetry. The Poetics. Translated by Ingram Bywater. Archived from the original on the 24th of July 2021. Retrieved the 25th of January 2023 via www.authorama.com. 25 Aristotle. 11. Aristotle on the Art of Poetry. The Poetics. Translated by Ingram Bywater. Archived from the original on the 24th of July 2021. Retrieved the 25th of January 2023 via www.authorama.com. 26 Aristotle. 14. The Poetics. Translated by Ingram Bywater. Archived from the original on the 18th of May 2021. 27 Aristotle. 12. Aristotle on the Art of Poetry. The Poetics. Translated by Ingram Bywater. Archived from the original on the 24th of July, 2021. Retrieved the 24th of July, 2021. 28 Are new movies longer than they were 10, 20, 50 years ago? The 28th of December, 2018. Archived from the original on the 30th of January, 2022. Retrieved the 30th of January, 2022. 29 ABC Donatus, alias, 1905, 300 SCE. Paul Wessner, ed. Ali Donati quod furta commentum. Terenti, Accedunt Ugraphi Volume 2. B.G. Tevpner. pp. 4, 189. 30 John Mark Bloom, ed. Alias Donatus. The online books page, database query result. University of Pennsylvania. Archived from the original on the 25th of January, 2023. Retrieved the 25th of January, 2023. 31 Shakespeare Sunday Hamlet, of Acts and Scenes. Archived from the original on the 24th of July, 2021. Retrieved the 24th of July, 2021. 32 Intro. Archived from the original on the 24th of July, 2021. Retrieved the 24th of July, 2021. 33 Freytag 41p. 34 Skoenbaum, S. 1973. Richard Levy. The Multiple Plot in English Renaissance Drama. Chicago and London, University of Chicago Press, 1971. 14277 pp. $9.50. Renaissance Quarterly, 26, 2, 224. 228 to 10.2307/2858756. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 35 Coltrane, Robert. Cowley's Revisions in Cutter of Coleman Street. Restoration, Studies in English. Literary Culture, 1660 to 1713. No. 2, 1989-6875. http://www.chster.org/stable/432925224 archived. 1 February 2023 at the Wayback Machine. 36 Jeffers 2005, p49. 37 Swales, Martin. The German Bildungsroman from Wieland to Hesse. Princeton, Princeton University Press, 1978. 38 ABC Freytag, 1900, p 115. 39 Freytag, Gustav, 1900. Technique of the Drama, an Exposition of Dramatic Composition and Art. Translated by Elias J. McEwen, 3rd ed. Chicago, Scott, Forsman. 40 University of South Carolina, 2006. The Big Picture archived the 23rd of October, 2007, at the Wayback Machine. 41 University of Illinois, Department of English, 2006. Freytag's Triangle archived the 16th of July, 2006, at the Wayback Machine. 42 Freytag, Gustav, 1863. Die Technik des Dramas, in German. Archived from the original on 16 January 2009. Retrieved 20th January 2009. 43 Freytag, 1900, pp 104105. 44 Freytag, pp. 25, 41, 75, 98, 188 189. 45 Freytag, pp. 80 81. 46 Freytag, p. 90. 47 Freytag, pp. 94 95. 48 Freytag, p. 29. 49 Freytag, 1900, pp 115121. 50 Freytag, 1900, pp 125128. 51 Freytag, 1900, pp 128130. 52 Freytag, 1900, pp 133135. 53 Freytag, p. 137. 54 Freytag, 1900, pp 137140. 55 Dynamite archived 23 October 2017 at the Wayback Machine. Cambridge Dictionary. 56 Dynamite. Querd. Archived from the original on 28 September 2021. Retrieved 28 September 2021. 57 Stanhope, Philip, Lord Chesterfield. Chesterfield's letters to his son. The Gutenberg Project. Archived from the original on 28 September 2021. Retrieved 28 September 2021. 58 ABC Whitcomb, Selden L. 1905. The Study of a Novel. University of Kansas. Retrieved 22 December 2021. 59 A.B. Senwain, Joseph Berg, 1909. Writing the Short Story, A Practical Handbook on the Rise, Structure, Writing, and Sale of the Modern Short Story. Hines, Noble and Eldredge. 60 Episcopal Diocese of Northern Indiana Archives, Revelation. Jesse Ketchum Brennan. Archived from the original on 2 February 2023. Retrieved 2 February 2023. 61 A.B. Hamilton, Clayton, 1918. The Art of Fiction. New York, Doubleday, Page and Company. Archived from the original on 28 October 2021. Retrieved 13 October 2021. 62 Maureen Honey, Creating Rosie the Riveter, Class, Gender and Propaganda During World War II, p. 139, ISBN 0-87023-443-9. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 63 Maureen Honey, Creating Rosie the Riveter, Class, Gender and Propaganda During World War II, p. 141-43, ISBN 0-87023-443-9. 64 Lubbock, Percy, 1921. The Craft of Fiction. London. p. 14. Archived from the original on 30 December 2021. Retrieved 30 December 2021. 65 Lubbock, Percy, 1921. The Craft of Fiction. London. p. 18. Archived from the original on 30 December 2021. Retrieved 30th December 2021. 66 Lubbock, Percy, 1921. The Craft of Fiction. London. p. 29. Archived from the original on 30 December 2021. Retrieved 30th December 2021. 67 Lubbock, Percy, 1921. The Craft of Fiction. London. pp. 32, 41, 57. Archived from the original on 30th December 2021. Retrieved 30th December 2021. 68 Lubbock, Percy, 1921. The Craft of Fiction. London. p. 81. Archived from the original on 30 December 2021. Retrieved 30th December 2021. 69 Woolf, Virginia, 1980. He Diary of Virginia Woolf Volume 2, 1st ed. Harcourt Brace. p. 272. 70 Bristine, Michaela. The Craft of Fiction. Yale. Archived from the original on 30th December 2021. Retrieved 30th December 2021. 71 Row, Kenneth, 1939. Write That Play. Funke and Wagnalls Company. p. 28. 72 Row, Kenneth, 1939. Write That Play. Funke and Wagnalls Company. p. 54. 73 Row, Kenneth, 1939. Write That Play. Funke and Wagnalls Company. p. 61. 74 Row, Kenneth, 1939. Write That Play. Funke and Wagnalls Company. p. 60. 75 Row, Kenneth, 1939. Write That Play. Funke and Wagnalls Company. pp. 60-61. 76 Row, Kenneth, 1939. Write That Play. New York, Funke and Wagnalls. p. Dust Jacket. 77 Degree, Lagos, 1946. The Art of Dramatic Writing. Touchstone. pp. 131. 78 Degree, Lagos, 1946. The Art of Dramatic Writing. Touchstone. pp. 173-174. 79 Degree, Lagos, 1946. The Art of Dramatic Writing. Touchstone. p. 171. 80 Degree, Lagos, 1946. The Art of Dramatic Writing. Touchstone. pp. 148, 169. 81 Degree, Lagos, 1946. The Art of Dramatic Writing. Touchstone. pp. 35-37. 82 A.B. Field, Sid, 1979. Screenwriting, The Foundations of a Screenplay, 2005 ed. Dell Publishing Company. p. 1. 83 Jill Chamberlain, the 1st of March, 2016. The Nutshell Technique, Crack the Secret of Successful Screenwriting. University of Texas Press. p. 24. ISBN 978-1-4773-0866-0. 84 Eslin, Martin, 1960. The Theatre of the Absurd. The Tulane Drama Review. 4, 315. Do. 10.2307/1124873. ISSN 0886-800X. JSTOR 11248873. Archived from the original on 12 December 2021. Retrieved the 21st of December 2021. 85 Eslin, Martin, 1961. The Theatre of the Absurd. OCLC 329986. 86 Kulik, Jan, 2000. The Theatre of the Absurd, the West and the East. University of Glasgow. Archived from the original on the 23rd of August 2009. 87 8 Gritty Facts About Hill Street Blues. Archived from the original on the 31st of January 2022. Retrieved the 31st of January 2022. 88 15 Surprising Facts About Hill Street Blues. The 15th of January 2018. Archived from the original on 31 January 2022. Retrieved the 31st of January 2022. 89 Fry, Great Code, 169. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 90 Aristotle, Poetics, Loeb Classical Library 199, ed and trans. By Stephen Halliwell, Cambridge, Ma. Harvard University Press, 1995, 11. 91 Tayuaki Georges Sumirka, The Grammar of Entertainment Film, 2005, ISBN 978-4-8459-0574-4. Lectures at Johannes Gutenberg University in German, permanent dead link. 92 Waldman, Katie, the 2nd of April 2019. The Deeply Wacky Pleasures of Jane Allison's Meander, Spiral. Explode. The New Yorker. Archived from the original on the 19th of June 2021. Retrieved the 29th of January 2020. 93 Allison, Jane, 2019. Meander Spiral Explode. New York, Catapult. p. 9. References, edit. Freytag, Gustav, 1900, copyright 1894, Freytag's Technique of the Drama, an exposition of dramatic composition and art by Dr. Gustav Freytag, an authorized translation from the 6th German edition by Elias J. McEwen, M.A. 3rd ed., Chicago, Scott, Forsman and Company. LCCN 13-283. Jeffers, Thomas L. 2005. Apprenticeships, The Bildungsroman from Goethe to Santayana. New York, Palgrave. ISBN 1-4039-6607-9. External links, edit. Another View on Dramatic Structure. What's Right with the Three-Act Structure by Yves Lavandier, author of Writing Drama. Categories: Fiction, Plot, Narrative, Narratology. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF.